Right, let's get to it. Why does Wizards of the Coast hate white players? And I mean people that play white cards. Fucking behave, will you? This is the thing I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I've seen people talking about it in other videos too, since this came up quite a bit on Twitter. I've seen the Masters of Modern and the Command Zone podcast. I've also done episodes on this. I haven't got around to watching those, to be completely honest with you. I just haven't had time. I've been wanting to address how white is my favourite colour in Magic, and I feel like for some reason, Wizards of the Coast won't throw it a fucking bone. Now, to clarify, as much as whatever the title of this video ends up being in my opening statement, I don't believe Wizards hate white. I feel like white has an identity problem in Magic. I think that white gets the short end of the stick in legendaries, rares, mythics, just playable cards in general, and also doesn't really have anything unique going on for itself, so it's kind of like a weak imitation of other colours, and then it gives some very strong support in having very hateful creatures or enchantments that then are quite good sideboard options for linear formats like Modern. Let's start with Throne of Eldraine, shall we? Should we talk about Throne of Eldraine as our case study? Of all the mythic creatures in Throne of Eldraine, it's obvious that Questing Beast and Brazen Borrower are the best ones, and I actually struggled to remember what the white one was until I looked at Mythic Spoiler. It's Harmonious Archon. Cool. It's kind of hateful in a way. It changes what your opponent's doing, makes them play on an even keel or something. That's quite white, I guess. It's just not very good. Then we've got all these huge, ridiculously costed artifacts. We have the Great Henge, which is an absurd green magic card for Commander. It's a high-picking cube now. I really enjoyed the last Legacy Cube season. Then we've got Embercleave, which is showing it up in Pioneer and Standard as an incredible powerhouse in aggressive red decks. We have Cauldron of Eternity, which I've played against a small amount in Standard and some weird brews. It's not seeing huge amounts of play, but it's a powerful effect that brings things back. Again, a pretty solid option for Commander. And then we have Magic Mirror, which I haven't seen any play yet, but I can imagine someone's going to play this and put counters on it and just keep drawing lots of cards, because drawing cards, if you haven't heard, is pretty fucking good. And then we have Circle of Loyalty. Now don't get me wrong, the Circle of Loyalty, the round table, the flavour of knights walking into the fire and emerging knighted is fucking awesome from like a world building perspective. But what the fuck is this? It's a 6-mana anthem that makes knights. Oh, watch out! Watch out! They're making knights! They're making knights! It's not 6 mana though, because all of the cards in this cycle have a cost reduction. This one's cost reduction means that it costs less per how many knights you have. There's a running theme in Magic, especially lately, I guess, because we're seeing the themes of multiple blocks here, as I'll come to in a moment, that sort of intertwine with each other, that white's cards are only good in narrow, specific circumstances. Then let's talk legendaries for a second. We had Emery in this set, which was fucking busted. We had like Gadwick the Wizard. We had Tulane in the Brawl decks. This set, Throne of Eldraine, has brought us some incredible legendaries. What did white get? Well, the uncommon one is this one. I don't even know what his name is without glancing at Mythic Spoiler. Do you remember what it is? Perhaps if you played Limited, it seems like an okay Limited card, or a pretty good Limited card, I guess, for an uncommon legendary. But besides that, do you fucking remember this? It's so unremarkable compared to like Sir Conrad and Sakara, the one with the trebuchet. I mean, what the fuck is this? And then you have the rare ones, where we have a card that sacrifices things to draw cards in black. Or green is a good stompy card because it gives you a good aggressive curve. The red one buffs red's damage. The blue one draws cards. It's a blue something in every body. It draws cards and it taps things. What does white get? Life gain. What the fuck is that? And then there are some other good white cards in the set. Realmcloak Giant is a very good wrath that becomes a body later on. I'll give you that. And there's Kenrith. Kenrith's a white legendary, except he's not. His card identity is 5 colour, and you can do what the fuck you want with him. The most exciting thing about him is that there's mana symbols of other colours on him that aren't white. What was the last really good white card in Standard that you can think? For me, I guess, not including multicoloured cards, not including Teferi in this, I don't think Oko is a discussion for how strong blue is as a colour, because let's be honest, it's a green card. The Teferis are good because they're blue. Let's talk about History of Benalia, Banalish Marshal, and Lyra Dawnbringer. The problem with these cards is that, well, Lyra is the best of the lot of them. Lyra is seeing play, ever so small amounts of play in the sideboards of Modern and Pioneer decks. It's a big old Baneslayer that pumps your team, and it's legendary. Cool. But would you play as your commander? Unless you're super into Angels, I fucking wouldn't. But it is a powerful card. Not, like, format defining, because no white cards ever are. Well, Except one that I'll come to in a moment. But that's Lyra. History of Benalia and Benalis Marshall. Again, they're very linear in what they do. They're very much a certain kind of deck. You're going to make some tokens. Knights preferably, or knight creatures. Pump them up and hit people with them. And Benalis Marshall, although it's an Anthem on a body, it's an Anthem on a triple white body, which means it's not going to see play anywhere else. Think of it this way. In that cycle, Tempest Djinn has seen play in like Tempo and Devotion lists, moving into Binary and Modern a little bit. And Chain Whirler, well, that card sees play in Legacy, with its useful creature types and its ability to wrath the board of Mana Dorks. It's just fucking good. Like, really good. Generically good. Meanwhile, the other ones in that cycle weren't as generically good as Chain Whirler, which is nice because red also gets the shot end of the stick a lot of the time. So what was the last white card that really dominated Standard? Well, Thalia's Lieutenant was a pretty good white card, let's be real. And Thalia's Lieutenant has then gone on to be in other formats too. It's a very, very powerful card in Modern and sees some Legacy play in the Humans decks. Around that time as well, we had Ally of Zendikar. It was the block before, but that card was very, very good and saw a shit ton of play and was basically the poster boy, the face of Standard during that time. Ally of Zendikar also sees play in Modern a little bit and in Legacy in the sideboards of Death and Taxes, for example, and I've seen it in Blue-White Control, Blue-White Miracles as well. So I think Ally of Zendikar was the last generically good, generically powerful, generically borderline oppressive, I guess, card out of white. Because every other card that warps a format right now is red or black. Or green. Definitely green. Wizards have got a real big hard on for green. I know some of you saying, oh, there's other good cards in those blocks that were white. Shall I? Well, that's green. Let's be real. Teshar? Cool commander, but it's not a white commander. That's basically mono brown. White consistently gets the short end of the stick on playable cards in other formats besides Standard, and Standard 2, which I'll come to in a second, and in Commanders especially. War of the Spark gave us God Eternal Aketra, which I think is a good place that white can muscle in on. I mean, you're rewarded for casting creature spells, and that's what a lot of white decks want to do. It's not all that brave or exciting, because it's exactly the same as what white has been doing for a long time, but it also saw play in other decks that weren't necessarily mono-white, and the whole power level of it is pretty damn high. Gideon Blackblade? Well, when you compare it to other cards in that format, in that cycle, it's no Dreadhorde General, is it? It's no... Even the blue Jace thing was fucking... It enables combos and powerful things in other formats like in Commander. You play the Jace in Commander, I do, but I wouldn't play this Gideon. And then it's just not Nissa either. Nissa, Who Shakes the World, is absurd in every format that he's playing, which is quite a few. I think Modern Horizons might be also a good example of what's wrong with right at the moment. So, Sarah, the Planeswalker, the card that they hyped the setup with initially is the worst of that Mythic cycle. It categorically sees less play in this order of cards that I think see play in this set of cards here. Yawgmoth, small amounts of play in other formats, like mainly a Commander card, right? Seasoned Pyromancer, or Hexdrinker, I guess those two come in the same slot. Again, Modern and Legacy play. And then Urza, which is like fucking dominating other formats like Modern. Sarah? I guess I'd pick it in Cube, if it was like around 7th pick and I was in a white deck. Modern Horizons did give us Giver of Runes and Ephemerate, okay? Those cards are powerful versions of what white normally does. Part of white's identity is protection, and Giver of Runes is that. It's the fixed Mother of Runes that end up being better than Mother of Runes in multiple circumstances in the Legacy decks. It can block against Karakas, bounce on your Thalias. It can allow you to block Eldrazi. I've won a game where I blocked with a Flickerwisp blocking an Emrakul thanks to Giver of Runes. It's a 1-2. It doesn't die to Marsh casualties unkicked. It's not a human, so it's not a Plague Engineer. This card is fucking gas, and it's a good sign of where they can take the direction of white in future. And then you've got Ephemerate, which is basically dominating, honestly dominating. It's a large part of the metagame in Pauper. It is the card that keeps white relevant in Pauper, and it saw some play in Modern as well with Gabriel Nassif's Bant Soul Herder deck. Perhaps though, these two pushed versions of what white does is more to do with the fact that Modern Horizons was so hideously fucking pushed. Don't forget there's a Force cycle in there where the only worse Force than the white one is probably the red one. I guess the black one's not great either, but I mean, white and black are probably on par for cards that see absolute fringe play, right? I put a bit of the white one. I wish I didn't. And before someone tells me that Ranger Captain Avios is like the best card in the set, it's pretty good. Again, very fucking narrow. I'm not slamming this into loads of decks, I'm like, it's double white for a start. And then it just does a certain thing contained. Looking at the MTG Goldfish stats here, in Standard, the only white card and the top cards overall was Teferi, which is white-blue. There are no top creatures. There are no top spells. Oh, I lie. Teferi. and Deafening Clarion. Okay, they're both white, I guess. Most played modern cards, Path to Exile. Path to Exile. It's funny when you look at the creatures and somehow Thought-Knot, Reality Smasher, and Matter Shaper are on there and there's no white creatures. Yeah, just think, let that sink in for a moment. Colourless creatures see more play than white creatures in Modern. Because A, that block was fucking absurd, I get that, but B, white creatures have sucked for a long time. In Pioneer, white does not get a show in until we get to the 9th most popular spell, and we get to Fairy Time Raveler. Pauper, we see it. Thraben Inspector, Stonehorn Dignitary, Palace Sentinels, Seeker of the Way, Lone Missionary, Standard Bearer, loads of white cards showing up. In Legacy, we see Swords the Plowshare and Thalia, and then in Vintage, 0. Nil point. Not a single fucking white card across the board. I'm going to go to the lands now. I'm going to read the lands out to see if we get a white land. I'm assuming Caracas might... No, fuck, it's not. Bazaar of Baghdad. Wasteland, Ancient Tomb, Mishra's Workshop, Polluted Delta, Underground Sea, Golden Tarn, Mishra's Factory, Tropical Island, Misty Rainforest. Did I count 11? How the fuck did I count 11? Either way, not a single white card nor white land makes it in to the top cards, the top 10 cards played on Manatee Goldfish for Vintage. So what does this mean? What this means is that white fucking sucks, and they need to fix it. The key parts of white's colour identity are, well, mechanically, things like gaining life and putting counters on stuff, growing through a cohesion of society. They're about authorities. They often have cards that affect the board state in a way that makes things even between you and your opponent or oppresses your opponent in some way. Staxy, Death and Taxes cards. Something I haven't mentioned in this is like Tomic from War of the Spark. That is a card that I've seen play in Legacy, Death and Taxes that affects how opponents interact with their graveyard and their lands. Remorseful Cleric, a body that can be sacked to exile a graveyard. Hushbringer, a card that everyone thinks fits in Death and Taxes, but it fucking doesn't, because it sucks. So we have +1/+1 counters, life gain, taxing, flickering, ephemerate, restoration angel, flicker wisp. The idea of taking something out of the battlefield and putting it back in. It's a cool, unique thing that white does almost exclusively, although blue has access to it a little bit in its secondary. But that's it, that's white's mechanical colour identity. And it doesn't give much room or scope for them to do much exciting with the cards. So how do we fix this? How do we fix this issue? I'm not a game designer, so I'm not going to give you a clear-cut way of fixing this, but I'm going to offer you 2 templates that you can learn from as time goes on, and perhaps create better cards if, for example, you're watching this and you work at Wizards, which you probably don't. No Wizards employees watch my content. But here's 2 examples of ways we can improve white, both in Commander and outside of Commander as well. The first one is Smothering Tithe. Smothering Tithe is the best white card been printed in a long time for Commander. Like, it's not very good in other formats. There are sort of janky combo decks that are fun, but it's not like a mainstay top-tier staple of the net deckers, right? It's not, but it is a must-answer threat in Commander. Smothering Tithe says whenever a player draws a card, they may pay 2 mana. If they don't, you create a treasure token. Seems a little bit, I don't know, innocuous or is that the word I'm looking for? Inconspicuous? Not very good. But these treasures add up and you get this huge amount of advantage because everyone's drawing a card. Go around the table, 3 people do it, they don't pay, you got 3 extra mana next turn. That's a huge ramp in a colour that doesn't normally have ramp. That's the thing, white doesn't draw cards, it doesn't ramp, it doesn't interact on the stack, it doesn't have the best creatures, it doesn't have the best planeswalkers. Like, what the fuck does white have? Mass removal? Yes, but even then other colours have access to those things. Black gets to do that with Damnations and Languishes and Flaying Tendrils almost as well as white does. Not quite as good, but that's the only place that white has its strength. I think Smothering Tithe gives us a good example of how it can tax people in a way that makes it unique and gives it the benefits that other colours benefit from. For example, I genuinely believe at this point that Rhystic Studies, a blue card traditionally, should be white. Now, they're not going to print a new Rhystic Studies called, I don't know, Thraben Studies or whatever, though that would be gas. But it feels like that ability of, do you pay 1? No, they can't draw a card. That ability, do you pay 1? Do you pay 1? That ability isn't blue. It feels very white. Why is it on a fucking blue card? Well, it's because the card pie used to shaft white even more than it does now. But why is it on a blue card? Red has been getting advantages recently in how it draws cards. They've been giving it this impulsive or like versions of looting and rummaging and it gets all this stuff. But white hasn't had that. All we've got is the Mentor of the Meek style stuff. The Mentor of the Meek is old and we don't see it very often. It also hamstrings you a little bit and funnels you into a strategy that you might not want to be in. The old white weenie. Don't forget that white used to do mass land removal, land destruction. It still had Fall of the Fran and Dominaria, but on the whole Armageddon isn't liked anymore. And so white lost a big part of its colour identity in like land taxes and Armageddon style effects, and we haven't really had it replaced or bumped up in other areas, so white has become weaker. Meanwhile, they give red more and more card draw. Do you know what also gives card draw? The Monarch E. Not literally the monarchy, it's in the British monarchy, that's a load of bullshit and I really fucking hate it. But the actual Monarch token. That's right, my second example of ways we can improve white is Palace Jailer. Palace Jailer gives me twofold reasons to include it here as an example of how we can improve white in the future. Firstly, it's that I'm not a designer. I don't know where to go with this design space. I haven't got an idea on how to improve white that's succinct or accurate other than giving these examples. But Palace Jailer shows us that there's open design space that they can go into that we hadn't thought of. In recent time, we've had treasures, we've had clue tokens. I'd love it if Investigate became primarily a white thing, and we see more white cards in Investigate, for example. Tireless Tracker, I know it's got landfall, but fuck me, I wish that was a white card. That would have made white so good. So unbelievably good. But Palace Jailer shows that they're willing to do things like, you get an emblem where you draw a card every turn, and it forces people to attack you. Now, putting the Monarch into standard might be obnoxious. I mean, the game starts to revolve around it, right? But the reason that white is so good in Pauper, other than Ephemera being so fucking good, is that the monarchy, or the monarch, on white cards tends to be better. It's a thing that white got a little bit more of in Conspiracy, or at least better cards of. For example, Palace Jailer, though it's not common. I'm not saying you have to specifically use the monarch mechanic to make white better, but I mean you could try doing effects like this in formats and sets to allow white to be better. White, maybe if white had Ascend, for example, in Ixalan, more than the others, because it's more about the keys to the city, the ascension of the city, all that jazz. Maybe that could be more of a white. And secondly, the reason I'm talking about Palace Jailer here is that it is an incredibly powerful magic card, but it's also incredibly fair. White gets a lot of effects that exile stuff, and it gets a lot of effects that are like parallel, and this is the perfect summation of that. The Monarch token thing and the exile. Once the creature's gone, if they can attack you, then get that creature back. There is a price they can pay. There is a caveat to the negotiations of a jailer. Do jailers negotiate? I don't fucking know. But it's a cool design that shows off white being powerful, but not like fucking busted. So in short, Smothering Tithe and Palace Jailer show us there's space to develop white's identity into something that's a bit more exciting than fucking, I don't know, put a counter on this dude, which green does better anyway, or life gain, that on the whole no one gives a shit about. I've been Vince, or PleasantKenobi on the internet. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Ristic Studies should be a white card now? Because I fucking do. Do you like Smothering Tithe but get pissed off at your friends playing it? Tell me down below. What is the best white card that I failed to mention in my synopsis of white cards over the last year or two? And tell me in the comment section below why I'm a fucking idiot. If you think that white is really good. And they are getting the short end of the stick. But I think I made a compelling argument for the most part. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click the like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you all soon. Oh, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you fucking subscribe. Ta-ta for now.